Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, a quick preview for the Josh Warrington versus Mauricio Lara card. This card goes down on the 4th of September, takes place at the Headingley Rugby Centre in Leeds, and it will be on DAZN in the UK and in the USA. Now, I've already done a prediction video for the main event. I've broke that fight down in a bit of detail, so if you want to watch that, check that out on my channel. But all in all, I like the main event. It's extremely interesting to me. High stakes. If Josh Warrington loses, his career is really, at a crossroads at that point. A defeat for Josh Warrington would be catastrophic for his future ambitions at world level. So it's a must-win for Josh Warrington. And as for Mauricio Lara, if he wins, he more than likely gets a title shot next. So a lot on the line for both guys. Stylistically, it should be a fun fight, as was the first, and I'm really looking forward to it, to tell you the truth. Great main event between Mauricio Lara and Josh Warrington. But let's have a look at the undercard. I'll basically preview all of the undercard fights for you. We have Giovanni versus Maxi Hughes. Now, this is at lightweight. Giovanni is coming off a first round knockout win over James Tennyson. Really good win for him. And here he's back in the UK fighting Maxi Hughes, a guy who, Maxi Hughes can really look after himself. In recent times, he's really improved as a fighter. As you can see, he's won 4 straight in a row. And, he beat Paul Highland Jr., knocked him out. He beat Kozhigov, who was an unbeaten prospect. And of course, he got the upset win over John O'Carroll. So Maxi Hughes is coming into this fight in really good form, as is Giovanni Maxi Hughes, a good little boxer in his own right, does the basics well. Giovanni an aggressive dude who can punch. This one should be an interesting fight. I envisage this one being competitive. Giovanni to me has the edge. He's the stronger guy, the bigger puncher, and I've got a feeling he might overwhelm Maxi Hughes. But it's a good fight, it's a competitive fight, and a really good addition to the card. We also have the return of Conor. He's fighting Adrian Granados. I've spoken about this fight previously. Now, this fight to me, it all depends on what Granados we have left, really. Granados' last couple of fights, he's not looked all that good. As you know, he's been through the ringer, fought a lot of hard guys, the likes of Sean Porter, your Dennis Hughes, Adrian Broner, Javier Fortuna, Danny Garcia. He's really fought a high-level competition, and in some of those fights, he's taken a lot of punishment. So it's hard to say what we have left with Granados, but let's say it's the same Granados who fought Sean Porter. I believe that version of Granados really gives Conor a bit of a test. So, this fight, like I say, it all depends on what Granados has left. But if Granados shows up like he's shown up in the last couple of fights, maybe Conor gets this guy out of there relatively impressively. But, Granados, gatekeeper, been around a long while, experienced. It's an okay fight for Conor at this stage. But after this fight, I think a step up is needed for Conor I would personally like to see Conor fight Michael McKinson or even David Avanesian after this fight. But Granados at this stage of Conor career, not too shabby, not too bad, but it could be better, to be honest. So yeah, Conor Granados, it's okay, it's not too bad. We also have the return of Katie Taylor. She's defending her titles against Jennifer Han. Again, me personally, I don't really care about female boxing, so that's not for me personally. We also have the return of super bantamweight prospect Hopi Price. Hopi Price, to me, I'm not all that convinced by him as a prospect, but I do like the matchmaking here. In his last fight, he fought a guy who was like 4-5-0 who came to fight. That was a decent little test for him. And now he's fighting a dude called Zaheed Hussein, who's got an impressive record at the very least. So again, I think that's a decent bit of matchmaking for Hopi Price. At least he's not fighting guys who are 0-10 or like 1-15, something like that. He's fighting guys with winning records and some ambition. So you know, good little test for Hopi Price, no real problems with that. We have the return of Ebony Bridges to East for Speed Bags. Now, Ebony Bridges, I mean, she sticks around like herpes. I'm not interested personally. I watched the weigh-in, but that's where my interest ends with Ebony Bridges, to put it bluntly. And we have a few prospects on the undercard as well. Brandon Stansfield, who, to tell you the truth, I've never heard of. We've got a guy called Marley Wright, who I've never heard of. And we also have the return of Jack Bateman. Back in the day, a really, really good amateur. But as a pro, as you can see, he's 13-0. But he's really not fought anybody of any consequence. And from what I see of Jack Bateman, I don't really believe he's going to translate that amateur style to the pro game. I think Jack Bateman will get found out when he steps up. But he's back on the card. He's from Leeds, so it makes sense. And we'll see how he gets on, providing he actually finds an opponent. As you can see, it's TBA. But when you look at the card from top to bottom, all in all, I actually think that's quite a good card. I like the main event, obviously. Really good fight between Lara and Warrington. I've got a lot of interest in Maxi Hughes, Giovanni Straffon. Conor Benn's in a decent enough fight, and Hopi Price is in there again with a decent enough opponent as well. So, all in all, I quite like this card. It's better than the Fight Camp cards that we were served up on DAZN back in the summer. So, a step in the right direction for DAZN. This is the sort of standard I'd like on the UK sort of domestic DAZN shows. I think this is a good standard, and there are some good fights there to look forward to. So, all in all, on paper, I've got no problems with this card. I know I'm a bit critical of Eddie Hearn, and I'm hard to please, but this card to me is okay. This card is decent, and I have to confess, I'm actually looking forward to it. So, yeah, all in all, pretty good card, in my opinion. A pretty good card. But anyway, share your thoughts below. What do you make of this card? First and foremost, what do you make of the main event? And what do you make of the undercard? Anything there you're looking forward to in particular? Any tips you have? Any outcomes that you're backing? Share your thoughts below. It's been your guy Delboy. Peace.